Hey everybody, I'm Todd and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and welcome to my life. Alright you guys, when we left off in the last 7 of 9 video, my neck was in this shape. My fretboard needs to be radiused, my neck needs to be carved, I got some transitions I need to work out back here at the headstock. Before we do that, however, I left these two ends expanded so I did not take a chance on routing them out of square with the router table. I've saved this side to do on camera. I was kind of wasn't paying attention when I started doing this. I wanted to try out this new tool I got. I bought myself a cranked neck Narex chisel. This is a 3/4 inch Narex made in the Czech Republic. I went through my shop and I sharpened every bladed tool, every bladed hand tool in my shop. So I'm ready for some more building with these things. So I'm just going to shave this off. We'll pare this away, I think is what they call it in the woodworking world. All right, that's good for now. Let's take our file. All right, so we're pretty good. I was thinking about taking a rounded end fretboard template, and I'll show you guys what I mean. This is a Strat style rounded end. But I thought that might look pretty cool, like that. All we need to do is attach this fretboard template to this fretboard. We'll spin it upside down, and all we'll have to do is run this across our router table. We'll be sorted. I still want to be able to see my center lines on both sides so I can get that lined up on my fretboard. Now we'll take our ruler, get our pencil. I'm going to use a 0.5 millimeter for this. We'll make sure we got a nice legible line down on our wood part of the fretboard too, and we'll copy that over once we pull this tape off. Perfect. So now you can see how much wood I've got exposed past that template. It's very little. I just want to create that shape around the end. So let's get that done. This should go pretty quickly. So that's where we are now. That looks way better, more clean. Oh, I wanted to show you guys, my brother, Matt, made me a couple of Sweet Tea banners to hang up in my shop. I thought that was so cool. I really love it. Thank you, brother. Awesome. I'm gonna get this jig set up on the spindle sander. We'll get this headstock sanded down to thickness and get our swoop sanded in, and we'll continue on with this build. What I'm going to do is I'm going to thickness this down to about 16.5 millimeters, which will give us a 1/2 millimeter to play with. I want a finished thickness on this headstock of 16 millimeters. I've got an 1.25 inch drum in the spindle sander right now with an 80 grit drum on that thing. So let's just get after it and see what happens. Not terrible. So there we go. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting these 4 markers on the base side of the neck. I'm going to put a 7 millimeter brass tube in the center of the 12th. I may do some contrasting like a black mother of pearl dot on the 12th fret. Then we'll drop down on this side the same distance from the edge that we are up here for these last 4 fret markers, and we'll mark those on this side and go back to the 4 millimeter of brass tubing with the white mother of pearl insert. The first thing we need to do is mark a new center line on this neck. So we're going to take trusty Crimson protractor here, a 43 millimeter width at our nut, At our 22nd fret, we should be around 56.5, 57 millimeters, I'm thinking. Eight millimeters might be a bit much. Let's go 6. Let's draw a line down that. All right, there's our line up to fret 12. Let's flip the neck around, do that same thing from 12 beyond. Now, you guys can probably see where I've got those dots. Then when we get down to 12, I got one in the center. Then we move to the treble side. All right, so fret 12, here we go. Fret 12. I think that is going to be cool looking. This is a Maximum Guitar Works neck hold down jig. This thing is great for multiple purposes. One being radiusing a fretboard. That's what it was really designed to do. You can also use this jig to level frets. You could very easily use this thing in conjunction with the leveling beam while your neck is in this thing, and it holds it really nice and tight, won't let it move. This solves a lot of hold down issues. I'm going to mount my neck up in this thing. This is a 12-inch radius hard maple sanding block from Maximum Guitar Works. I have attached a stiff aluminum plate auto body file sander to the top of this thing with super glue and masking tape. This is my preferred way to radius a fretboard. So I got 40 grit on this thing. 40 grit is some stout sandpaper. And when I start to see my center line disappear, that's when I switch over to 80 grit. Nice clean fresh sheet of 220. Let's mark our fretboard up one more time. I really love this part of a build, you guys. I really do. I've got other radius blocks, but 12-inch has become my preferred radius. And we're perfect. Let's lay a straight edge on this thing and see how flat we are. I'm only concerned right now with the center. We're in great shape. All right, you guys, let's get these fret markers installed. So I'm going to start by just hammering in the brass tube. I've already got one of those hammered in just to check the depth and everything. That's going to look pretty cool, I think. Nine fret markers installed. All right, so we're pretty much flushed up with our fretboard at this point on those brass dots. White mother of pearl, and we need a nice black piece. Float this black mother of pearl. Perfect. So there we go. We got fret markers over and under, one in the middle. Wait till we shine this up with some sandpaper. This is going to be beautiful. Better already. Very cool. To tell you the truth, I think I like those better than I do the full-size ones. We're going to shift our focus over to the body for a little while. I've got the neck to a point now to where I need to shape it and fret it, but we need to have the body to a point that I can sink the neck down in the neck pocket. We'll use this template to cut our neck pocket. My center line's dead on where it needs to be. We have got to hog this material out on the drill press, so let's draw this neck pocket out first. We can pop this template off now. We're going to go for 17 millimeters on the drill press. That way I know I can get the point of our Forstner bit out of that, you know, after the fact. All right, we're a little shy of it, but I'm going to leave it right there, and we'll cut the rest of that floor out with the router. Let's get this neck pocket hogged out. There's our neck pocket hogged out. All right, you guys, let's get on it. All right, that wound up pretty perfect. It left me just the thin line right on this side, which is pretty much how you want it to work out when you're routing a telly neck pocket. We are at exactly 19 millimeters deep. I want to make a template so I can do relief carves, not just on the telly. So I want to kind of make a universal rear relief carve template. I'm going to use this piece of plexiglass right here, and I'm actually going to cut a cavity out of this thing. All right, there's a center line that we can at least work with. So now all I got to do is trace out this shape. I'll need to drill myself a hole in this once we get this design transferred over to this plexiglass. We'll cut it out with the jigsaw, and then I will sort the shape out with the spindle sander. So I cracked the perspex, but we can glue that back together. All right, that'll work. So I've got an 1¼ inch drum in the spindle sander right now. It's got 80 grit sandpaper on it, which should go through this pretty quickly. We're going to use it to sort out the biggest part of this template. Yeah, it's going right through it. I think we're pretty good. We'll switch over to the smaller drum so we can get that corner, that tight corner cut up in there. All right, you guys, there we go. Got that weird shape now, but all we have to do is super glue and masking tape this down to the body, get us a bowl and tray bit, and we can route that down as far as we want. I'm going to go for a significant relief in the back of this body. So here's what I'm talking about using. That's got rounded corners but a flat bottom. That's what we want. The issue you run into is, you see how far we're going to have to be down into the body right there. So what I'll do is build a platform on the top of the body so my template can ride, and our bit's only cutting, you know, 2-3 millimeters at a pass. All right, let's cut these real quick. This won't take but a second. How about that? That's not going anywhere. We can clamp our body down here. Let's clean our table up a little. There we go. We're ready to roll. Got my glasses on. Let's get our mask on. It looks like we took about 3 millimeters or so. I want to go one more pass on that.
That worked out perfectly. I'm really happy with that. Pretty cool carve, I think.
That's got us down to an acceptable level of thickness at our neck pocket at this point. I'm going to do some ramp carving right in here too. I'll roll all this down into the neck profile. All right, so you can see what happens there. I need to route out that area for our truss rod adjustment nut. Pop the template off. Now our neck should slide down in there no problem. Oh, you could not ask for much better than that. Even the height of the neck above the body ended up exactly where I wanted it. There we go. Nice tight neck pocket. All is well. While we've got this neck in the pocket, we'll run rulers down the side of this neck and make absolutely certain where our permanent center line is going to be for this body. We'll start roughly at our nut line. We'll hold this down, let that fall, make a line. I always use a 1/2 millimeter for these, these really tight lines, or lines that are crucial to the function of the guitar in the end. All right, let's take our protractor, and we're about a 64th off of our body joint. We'll come down here at our scale line, or slightly after it. All right, I'm about a 32nd off, so that's not terrible. I'm happy with that. Let's make a new permanent center line. We want this to be in exactly the right spot. I knew actually that I had a black Kluson standard telly bridge with brass saddles. I knew I had it in here somewhere and I could not find it. I had resigned myself to using that Music Lily humbucker bridge for it with the stainless steel saddles, which I would have been absolutely fine with. I found it. 4-hole mount, which is a modern style telly, brass saddles coated black. Then I started looking. I found this Orapure railed humbucking bridge pickup for a telly. This is what I'm going to use. So everything's changed at this point. We're still using a humbucker in the bridge. It's just a single coil size, and even better than that, it's a telly single coil size. And I started thinking, my buddy Mike from ASA Guitars sent me a bag full of pickups. I started looking through that bag. Not only did I have a P90, I had a set of P90s, a bridge and a neck pickup. They're Elnico 2 and 5s in the same pickup. So I think for a neck pickup, that is going to rock in this guitar. Anyway, that's what we're going to use. Wes, you're so glad that I found these. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Orapure, these pickups are made really beautifully. This is an Elnico 5, and I love this sound in a telly. Not only does this slant give you a little bit warmer high end, the way it's brought away from the bridge, from the saddle contact point or the intonation point. Moving this area closer to the bridge that way gives that bottom end a little bit more bite than you get in the top end. It's one of the signature parts of the telly sound. And in the neck pickup, I would much rather have a P90 in the neck of a telly than I had a standard telly single coil. It's a P90. A P90, in my opinion, best pickup for a neck position that you can get universally. There are combinations that I like better. Humbucker, for instance, or an HSH layout. I love a humbucker, single humbucker. That's my go-to pickup layout. But in a telly, in the neck position, it's getting a P90. So now that I've found that, and this template has all the routes in it that I need, I am going to have to drop this template back a little bit because we are using a spoke wheel truss rod. If I route this P90 in this position, we're going to be right up against that truss rod nut slot right there. So I want to back this up about 1/4 of an inch or so. We won't get it too far away from the neck because I want that tonality that you're going to get from that P90 being as close up against that neck as we can get it and still have a nice chunk of solid wood in between there. I've got my telly pickup location. We need to hog that out. I'm about to mark out the P90 right now, but what we'll do is carry both these cavities to just shy of 3/4 of an inch. We'll go 12 millimeters. We're going to go to right there, and that's a substantial amount of wood left between the end of our truss rod nut and the start right there at that line. I'm just going to draw this in so we know where to hog this out at. So there's our two pickups marked out. We're ready to go. Let's just get after it. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. I'll leave the 30 millimeter mounted up just in case. All right, and my hog out area looks fine. Let's check our depth on our router bit to make sure we're not going to bottom out. Okay. That is 21, about 21.5 millimeters. All right, same thing as last time. We'll clamp the body down. Again, really shallow cut. Okay. There we go, you guys. Let's get this slot routed right here for the 5-way, or in our case, the 3-way selector switch. This should be a really quick route. All we're doing is taking a 1/16 router bit with a 5/16 bushing in our router. This template's made for that, and we can route this as deep as the router bit will allow us to go, and then as we route the back cavity, that hole will be revealed to us. That will be an indicator when we've gone far enough. Turn it off. That little 1/16 inch router bit did a really good job at cutting in that slot. All right, you guys, so we got our cavity hogged out. I've got that cleaned up, all these points like I always do. So I installed this without this involved. So for this part, all we got to do is drop this down in this template, route this, pull this out, grab a shallow depth of cut router bit, and route this as deep as we want our back cavity cover to be.
Rear cavity done. Perfect. Nice.
I think I'm gonna have to use the telly template, this cavity template right here. We're gonna have to reroute this cavity. The cavity template that I was using is not big enough. And we'll start that tomorrow evening. So you guys join me back here seconds in your life. But I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, throw me a thumbs up if you feel like it, and leave me a comment. Just say hello if that's all it is. We're going to attach this template right here with super glue and masking tape to the back of this body like that. We're going to use this to mark out our new cavity location. We'll take it over to the drill press, hog any extra material out that we need to. We'll bring it back over here to the table, get our route finished, and then we can move forward with this build. So I hate that I lost that time on it, but it's not going to take us that long. Just hogged out this top area. We can place the template on here now, crank the router back up after I shave these points off with the chisel, and we'll recut this cavity the way it needs to be. All right, I got my mask on. Let's get after it.
All right, let's pop this template off so we're not taking a chance on messing our template up with that collar on that bit. We can use the side of the cavity that we've already got cut as our template now.
There we go. Our back cavity's routed, our shelf's routed. We need to make the cover. But I'm not going to do that yet. I want to wait and find out exactly what the front of this thing's going to look like with the stain on it. So let's get these tabs cut off. We'll sand that smooth right there and make sure our shape's like it needs to be. And then I am going to start carving this body up. We're getting to the point now to where it's not going to be long. We're going to be putting finish on this thing. This guitar's got the potential to turn out really killer, and I absolutely don't want to rush it. So we're going to cut these tabs off right now. Let's get that done real quick. This won't take but a minute. There we go. Now it looks like a guitar. No tabs involved. So let's crank up the spindle sander, get this sanded smooth. I didn't want to go crazy with it. I just didn't want it to be a completely square back. I just wanted to have a little bit of offset to it. There we go, you guys. I want to start working on some carves at this point, and I'm not going to go overboard on this guitar. So I am going to grab the almighty Shinto. We're going to get our fine cut and our medium cut 10-inch Iwasaki flat files. And we'll get our medium cut Iwasaki half round 10-inch. What I'm going to do is start to rake some of this away. And we'll use the Shinto. I'm going to cut this corner off with the fine side. Switch over to our coarse side. Oh yeah, we're going to get that reveal right there. So I want to make that pronounced enough to where it doesn't look like an accident. Switch over to the Iwasaki and start to clean this up. See what we can get happening. Now I want more mahogany than that revealed, but I don't want to come too far that way so it starts looking like I'm crowding up this space in between this carve here and our pickup cavity. All right, you guys, so this is where we are right now, and I'm digging it. And what I'm doing right now is trying to get rid of this glue line. I love that I've got that little streak in the maple right there. I think that's cool. I mean, it's funny, the thing you start liking. But that maple's got a streak in it right there, and I like it. Go from a smooth round shape, start flattening, flat, flatter. Flat all the way around here. We'll do the same thing right here. We'll start coming into a round over. What do you think? It's not all about reinventing the wheel, you guys. You know, I know there's builders out there that are vastly better than I am. You know, I have a vision in my head I want to get out, you know. I want to get that onto this body. Let's flip this thing over and take some of this out. We're going to bring that cut a little bit deeper into the body, and I'll roll this edge over, but leave this edge nice and tight. That way we won't have a hard edge right there, and your forearm can just flow right down onto the face of the body. Welcome back to the shop. Today is Saturday, October the 29th. Ben from Crimson Guitars skipped the live stream last week. I really want to be there for it tomorrow, and I would love to get this video done so I can release it. Even if it's after the live stream, I still want to release this tomorrow. That being said, I think we're probably going to have to make another video, you guys. I apologize. I've tried to get as much work done as I possibly could this week. But as you guys know, I ran into this issue on the rear cavity. I still need to make the cover for it. I got tons of sanding left to do. We still got to shape the neck. I got to get it fretted. We're close, but I don't think I'm going to make my goal for this week, and that's all right. I'm not that worried about it as long as you guys are okay with having another video release, which most of you seem to be when this happens to me, which is basically every time. we're gonna jump straight back into it, you guys. I want to finalize this belly area right here. I don't have that much more to do. And I think just a little bit more carving on this is gonna get us where we need to be. '80 makes quick work of this. That looks better. I like it softer with what I've got planned for this anyway. Normally, I go for tight lines, hard lines, you know, that tight look. On this particular build, I'm after something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more fluid and elegant. Not saying tight lines can't be elegant, they can be. All right, you guys, before we start sanding on this body, I'm gonna pan down. We need to mark out these string through holes. I got my awl here. We're gonna use the Maximum Guitar Works Tele template to do this. I'm just gonna go down through here and make a small indentation right here where these need to go. There those are. Now for the back, what I'm gonna do is measure up and find out how far that line is from the back edge of this guitar. We're at 145.5. I went down through there and did the same thing with my awl. So we're ready to drill these holes in. Let's drill it. Six. There we go. There's those 6 holes following that line. The holes up under the bridge, as long as they fall in the hole that's passing through the bottom of the bridge, you're fine. If they're a 30-second off, it's not going to matter. You won't be able to see that. On the back, however, if they're a 30-second off, you will be able to see that. All right, let's drill this one. We're going to have to do those by hand, I guess. Which at least we got 4 of them, and they look straight as a string. There we got 4. We just have to be really super careful. Luckily, we're not going all the way through the body with these. So as long as we're somewhat perpendicular to the body surface, we should be all right. There we go. Those look really good. Thankfully. What we want to do, mark out the center of this flat right here on the side. Now, I've got a plan for this that will hopefully allow me to get rid of at least most of this flat right here. I'm planning on recessing this about 1.5 millimeters below the surface, which means we'll need to be really super careful when we go down in here with our step drill bit. That way, if we recess it 1.5 millimeters or so, we can get rid of these 2 flat points I got here. There's that mark. Let's find it only between the soft maple sections of the body. I won't include the top. All right, X marks the spot, you guys. Let's mount up our Forstner bit. Here we go. So we got a nice clean hole in there, even on the inside. So that Famag drill bit is the bomb. Now, I'm gonna put this step drill bit in here, and wherever we wind up, we want to go one size larger, just for the lip. All right, that is perfect. That's what our hole looks like on the inside. It's stepped on the inside as well. So what I'm thinking about doing right now is marking out where I want the holes for our neck bolts to go. I think we'll drill in the pilot holes for our neck bolts, get these recesses cut, then we're going to sand this whole body 150, 220, 320, 400, all over the entire surface of this body. Then if I'm satisfied with all these lines right here and everything else that's going on, we're going to wipe this body down with either a dark brown, or we may wipe the whole entire body down with amber. I'm going to figure that out once we get this sanding done. What I want to do to decide this is I want to make certain that my threaded metal inserts are mainly in that rock maple. I don't want them falling on a seam, nor do I want those totally in that canary. So here's how I'm going to do that. So right here, I just want to make some marks across the back. And okay, so we don't even need marks. We want our bolts and our threaded metal inserts to fall outside the ash strip. So we want to keep those, you know, a good 3/4, 1 inch from the edge of this, so I've got room to do that flowing shape that I like to do up into the neck profile. All right, so there's our holes. Now, what we need to do is find a ferrule, which I've got over here. These are flathead socket cap 832 screws. So let's move over here to the drill press and go ahead and cut these recesses in. That will allow us to sand over this and get everything super clean. All right, that was simple enough. So there we go. Let's drill the size of holes we need for those the 832 bolts to fit through. There we go. I don't want to lose it out of there, but there we go. Nice. All right, you guys, I almost forgot. Before we go any further, I want to take this step drill bit and fix the edges on our string through ferrule holes back here. There we go. Now we got clean edges. I'm to the point now to where I'm good with the top. We still got a little bit of work to do on our sides. Our back's okay, but I got some work up in here to do, and it's getting late. I'm gonna wipe a coat of stain on the front of this body. We're gonna call it a night. We're gonna call it a wrap. All right, you guys, I have got some crimson, stunning spirit stain. This is amber. I'm gonna wipe the whole front of the quilted maple part of this body down with this stain. We're gonna let this dry overnight. I'll catch back up on this tomorrow. One more video next weekend, you guys, or I think one more. We're just gonna keep going until we get done. Look at that. Some beautiful quilted maple. So I want to try something real quick. That right there looks pretty dang sweet. I'm going to take some honey Angelus leather dye. This is a little bit more vibrant and has a little bit more of a yellow cast to it. That is absolutely serving to pop that grain. Look at that figure. That is just sick, beautiful. I may go ahead and wipe it down with some dark brown now. I think I'm going to use the Angelus. Let's see what happens. We might wipe this whole top down with this. That's really serving to highlight that grain. Yeah, let's wipe this whole thing down. Oh, look at what that's doing to that background. It's got that golden deep amber color in the background. You can tell what that's going to do when I sand that back tomorrow. I mean, look at that. That is going to be awesome. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this video up right here. This is where we are. Tomorrow, after I get through editing this video and getting it posted, I'm going to come down here, sand this back. We're going to start to fade this from yellow to amber to dark brown. I think it's going to be really cool. You can't tell so much on camera, but that brown is really doing a super job at highlighting the figure in this quilted maple. I played around on the back a little bit too, but we're going to sand this back, although I do kind of like the way that looks. We're going to sand this back and probably wipe this down with a coat of light brown all the way around the edge of the body. I very well may wind up doing a linear fade on this body. Different than I did the Cloud 9 build, but a linear fade nonetheless. This is going to be a beautiful guitar, you guys. If you haven't already, please give a thought to hitting that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date as to where I'm at on this guitar, as well as everything else I got coming down the pipe. You guys know I'm about to start a collaboration build with Gio from Tornella Guitars, and we're going to take notes, compare builds, and try to learn something from each other, all the while trying to lend our knowledge to you guys. Throw me a like if you don't mind. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this build and all the plans I got coming up here on the channel. Don't forget about the giveaway. The only requirement is that you be subscribed to the channel. And as always, you guys, until the next video, peace and love.